Okay, I'm guessing this is gonna be everybody. Okay, so let's start. Today's webinar is gonna be based on how FileCloud Compliance Center can help you meet GDPR compliance. I'm James and I'll be hosting today's webinar. Let's start. Next slide. So the webinar is gonna be mostly composed of, first one is the Compliance Center overview, what it does, how it can help you. Second is enabling it. And third one is basically the meat of the matter, the GDPR compliance within FileCloud, how it looks like, and how you can set it up. Overview is that GDPR is a broad set of rules regarding data protection for all individuals within the EU. It doesn't only apply in the EU, companies within the EU, but also any company dealing with user data for EU residents. It also carries penalties for personal revenue if there is a failure to comply. And FileCloud provides a set of easy-to-use features that support an organization's need to meet GDPR regulations. How GDPR looks within FileCloud is within these 5 areas. Within FileCloud Compliance Center is within these 5 areas: user consent, the right to access, data portability, right to be forgotten, and special user types for DPOs. So this is the FileCloud Compliance Center. And as you can see, we have several compliances, but mostly we're going to be talking about GDPR. Start off the bat, this isn't something that is automatically available, especially coming from if you are coming from a previous version. The Compliance Center was just recently introduced in 21.2. GDPR and HIPAA was introduced in 21.3. So if you're not seeing Compliance Center, this is an enterprise level feature. Also, first off, to enable this for admin users, you have to make sure that you have to go to an admin role. So you have to set a new role, for example, Compliance Center Officer. No, I think I might just have been locked out. Okay. Okay, let's go back. So I got a compliance officer and I've set him a role of compliance. This ensures that whenever they log into the admin portal, they can see the Compliance Center or the Compliance tab in the governance section. So with that set up, they log in, they now are able to enable GDPR or the GDPR compliance tab, which when they go and click GDPR, they should be able to see a number of articles or a list of articles here. So let's start. I'll try to cover this within the hour, at least all of this, if not most. So start off, you're gonna see basically in the summary of how many rules there are, if you have any failed rules or any rules that you have bypassed. If you go ahead and click this article or this button here, it should redirect you to the actual article and give you the information what this particular article is, such as principle relating to processing of personal data. It basically means that within FileCloud, it basically means that you have to set up a terms of service. When you click on the enable button, it will tell you when you enable this article, and if FileCloud notices that, hey, you have some issues regarding this rule, you might have to set up a default TOS. Now, how to do that? You just have to click this information icon. It will tell you. Also, basically what this article is. It's a principle relating to processing personal data. And I clicked on this. It'll tell me that you have to go to the customization, TOS, and set up a TOS. So customization. TOS and setup. TOS, that is not the default. So just make a modification here. Let's say you have that set up. You go back to Compliance Center and click refresh. It should say OK. Next up is Article 6 and 7, lawfulness, processing, and conditions for consent. Customizes terms of service behavior and consent to ensure lawfulness of processing. Basically, you letting them know that, hey, users, we're gonna be accessing PII. Getting information such as, say, your IP, basically information relating to your username, to your name, to your email, all that stuff. So when I go ahead and click on issues, it will tell me that, yeah, you have to enable this stuff. So when I go ahead and click on the information icon, it will tell me that you have to go to the policies, enable the privacy settings, and set to yes. Force the users to accept the TOS whenever they log in, and show the TOS every login. So go to first, let's go to settings, miscellaneous and privacy, and show TOS for every login. Force users to accept the TOS. Next up, depends on how many policies you have. Basically, you have to ensure that all of these policies that you have in your system, you have to make sure that you have these enabled. Click on refresh, it should be good. Okay, let's move on to the rights of the data subject. Confirm all users are educated about global activity, file photo activity, and share activity. Click on enable. It will say automatically say it's okay. When it clicks an it will tell me that, hey, you just need to make sure that disable action panel is unchecked. If it is unchecked, then that's where it's gonna throw an error. So you go to settings, miscellaneous general. By default, it is checked. By default, it is unchecked. This one. Basically, when you go to the user portal, it pertains to the activities tab. So, yep. This one. Basically, all the activities tab, it's going to be disabled if, say, you click on this one or have this checked. Okay. Going back. Next, confirm sort of service indicates where personal data collected. Okay. Here, basically, this is one of the rules where there is no system check for this one. It's just confirmation that, hey, your terms of service actually indicates that personal data is going to be collected from your users. Next is the right to erasure or right to be forgotten. What this means is that you are aware, or your users are aware, that they can actually, if they can actually request their username to be anonymous or forgotten, that is possible within the system. So if you're an admin and you receive such requests, go to settings, miscellaneous and privacy. You need to set up an anonymous user consent dialog text. It has to be GDPR compliant, so basically you let them know. And when you go ahead and click on anonymize, you would receive these three options. So ask for a username, an email, and IP address. So everything for that user is gonna be, for example, say for example, I have this user within the audit logs. believe he was tracked user. As you can see, his actions are now anonymous within the logs. So that is right to be forgotten. That is how you can enable the anonymous or forgot feature in FileCloud. Okay, so Article 20 refers to the right to data portability. Basically, you are to confirm that there are going to be export options for your users' files and for user activity. So click on enable. It's same as before. It just there is no system check. It's just to let you know that you have to make sure that your admins know this. So how to do this? You can go to the users pane, click on edit users, go to their files, and you can actually download as a zip for their files. Same with the audit logs. You can go to the audit records, manage the audit logs, and choose a start and end date and click export. So let me just go ahead and show you. Let's go to users. Say, for example, let's go to my user, click on manage files, and here you can actually download the file as a zip. And within the audit logs, here you can filter accordingly. And this is what was meant by start date and end date. And you can choose to export. And it should be exported as a CSV file. You click on download. Next is the right to object. Confirm that admin uses no privacy TOS behavior. Again, no system check. And this is because we already enabled privacy settings. We also enabled the force or show TOS option as before. So basically this and this are linked. So that's why it's already showing okay. Next, controller and processor. Confirm admins understand audit. There is no system check. It is available. As of right now, I believe I already have requests are full. The only main thing is that the only time that this is going to return an issue or tell you that there is an issue is say, if, for example, if you go to settings and then leave admin, and you have audit logging level to off. That's the only time that it's going to say that, hey, you need to turn logging on. Next up is use settings to enable encryption. It is gonna show issues for me because I have not encrypted my storage on my local instance. Basically, it will tell me that I need to enable encryption. So you have to go to settings, storage, and process encryption, as you can see. So because that's gonna take some time, I'm also not interested in encrypting right now. I'm just gonna leave that as is for now. But that is something that is needed for GDPR compliance within FileCloud. All right. Next up is notification of personal data breach to supervisor authority. Confirm admin knows how to use audit alerts. Again, this is a system check. And there's no system check, I mean. This is just to let you know that, hey, admins know how to do this. And when you click on the eye icon, yeah. So audit logs, as was shown before, alerts are also in the bottom of the bottom of the left. So this is to let you know how, basically just confirmation on that your admins are aware of this. So let's go back to compliance, GDPR. this is basically you enable this rule and everything is good to go. If not, it will let me know that, yep, there are 3 rules left that I haven't passed yet. Okay. So the last one, the second to the last one is the designation of the DPO. So for one, you have to make sure that you have a user that has access to the Compliance Center. And because we already did that earlier, it's already showing a check mark. Basically, we already passed that one. But if in case we don't, then yeah, it will let us know that we need to enable that one. Next up is choose a login-based DLP rule to restrict access. As of right now, I already have one set up. But say, for example, I have not, how it looks like. It's going to look like this, and it will ask me to create a smart DLP first. Let me just go ahead and click on edit. Basically, let's say you're now going to be creating a DLP rule. I've set up mine to basically only allow anybody that comes from Great Britain or the UK. And you can set up other login rules here as well, such as maybe an IP range, is an admin or not, or IP is static, that depends. But say, for example, in my instance, I've only gonna accept anybody that's gonna be from Great Britain. Click on update. As to the reason why I can log in right now is because I have currently set it to permissive and not enforced. Permissive basically is gonna be tracking violations because I'm in the Philippines. It's gonna be tracking violations from where I'm logging in from. Hey, this user isn't coming from what this rule states. If you, for now, I'm just setting it permissive just to show you. From that point, when you have everybody set up, you know their IPs, know where they're coming from, click on enforce and update, and anybody else won't be able to log in your system unless they fit in this rule. So I'm gonna go ahead and enable this, go back to the Compliance Center, and click on refresh. And all that's left is gonna be encryption, and everything should be good to go from your end. And that pretty much sums up how FileCloud's Compliance Center can help you facilitate GDPR compliance. Anybody have any questions? All right. Okay. I guess not. Well, you will be sent an email regarding quick start guide, basically all the stuff that was visited today, especially the FileCloud Compliance Center and GDPR compliance. If you do have any questions or concerns, feel free to contact our support team at support@filecloud.com. And if you are interested in looking into our documentation, you can go to filecloud.com/support docs. I want to thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. Thank you and have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.